Welcome to my channel. Hello everyone, hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Axis and this is my channel Axis Does. And if you were going to ask what I be doing, what does Axis do? She does a lot right now. Now I am going to take off my makeup, I think. I want to, but then I saw how juicy my lips look. And now I kind of want to experiment with some red lipstick to see what that looks like. And I thought, gee golly, why not do that while ranting about thoughts on the beauty community as it stands right now in 2023. I tried to do that today while I put on my makeup for a TikTok video, but then I realized that the video was over an hour long and there's no way I'm gonna be able to shorten all that content in a little under 3 minutes or 30 seconds. So we're just not gonna, we're not gonna try. But hey, I could turn it into a video and talk about it, yeah? Because I am very fascinated with the fact that the beauty community as we knew it is like dead. Even when we are trying to like rile people up, if there's one thing I think we should take away from the beauty community as a whole, it's that as it stands today, it's not what it used to be. Even with the drama with, I think her name's Michaela Aguilera, the Boston makeup guru, and the drama that was trying to start with her boyfriend, her now boyfriend, but some other content creator's ex-boyfriend, right? It just felt like a lot of people weren't in tune to that, and a lot of people just really didn't care about the messiness of it all. A lot of people were just like, oh, that's cute, I guess. Like, okay, you dated him too. And I'm starting to realize that beauty guru content is just not holding as much weight as it used to. Even like with some of the beauty gurus out now, they're not really doing too much drama. They're just out here trying to teach you how to do a winged eyeliner. Not everybody is out here like trying to beef and argue and talk about 70, 80 eyeshadow palettes, you know? So why did I take off my rings? I kind of like my rings. I want to take off my makeup, but also I want to experiment with like lipsticks. So I should probably take my jewelry off, yes, if my hands are gonna get dirty. But maybe they won't get dirty, so maybe I can keep some of it on. Yeah, I think that we can kind of collectively agree that beauty guru drama isn't what it used to be. Based off of the current events that have happened, like I said, I mentioned Michaela, but I also wanted to talk about the Tarte brand trip. I know I'm like 5 years late. Like I realized like that crap was happening in like March of 2023, but I it's always been like in my mind for like the past 7 months or so. And I just really want to talk about it because I think it truly solidifies like how over we are about where the beauty guru scene is headed to, and just more or less how we just don't, I think we're kind of tired of that type of influencer, right? And not like we're tired of like beauty guru influencers in general, but just kind of tired of the drama that they get involved in. I think we can all safely say we're collectively tired. To do a brief recap, right? I'm just gonna take off my lipstick because I wanna, where is the lipstick? I want to try this red lipstick from the Lip Bar. It's like a Bows lady. I think it's a dupe of HBIC from Fenty Beauty. I don't know. Bows. Maybe it's Boss lady. Boss? Is that what they're trying to do? Trying to hit us with a New York accent? I'm gonna go in with this Lip Bar brown pencil, Straight Talk. I feel like a brown lip liner pencil is like every black girl's staple when it comes to makeup. Like you can create so many effortless looks with a brown lip liner pencil. Is this brown or is it red? It looks red. Anyway, you can create so many, I'm talking about this one. Straight living. Okay, you can create so many looks with like a brown lip liner pencil and like a nude, this is old, but like a nude lipstick, or just like a brown lip liner pencil and like a pink or nude gloss. Like it's every black girl staple. For all y'all black girls out there trying to get into makeup, just know that like if anybody hasn't told you, all right, mama's got you. Okay, brown lip liner pencil, pink gloss, pink gloss, nude gloss, or clear gloss. Bonus points if you get your clear lip gloss from the beauty supply store, okay? Don't Don't get bougie with it. Just what specifically happened during the time of the Tarte brand trip debacle. I don't want to really name drop creators because I'm about to be messy with it. Oh well, that's what commentary's here for, right? To be messy. Yeah. Okay, Shawty Sin. She is a brown skin beauty guru creator, and she kind of whistle blew that Tarte wasn't treating her well on their annual brand trip. If you guys don't know what the Tarte brand trips are, basically like every year or so they take a select group of influencers to these fancy bougie trips out of the country to these very exotic locations where they all shoot content together, all get free promo and products, and just talk about their ordeal in foreign countries with makeup. Yeah. With this year's Tarte brand trip, you know, they hadn't done any prior to because of the pandemic, and you know, even if they were to successfully pull off a Tarte brand trip, it wouldn't be as successful. I feel like it wouldn't be a good look for the brand because everybody was still at home, the pandemic was going on, and nobody want to see a bunch of influencers flex about how they got to go on a Turks and Caicos trip while everybody's stuck at the house broke or struggling for their next paycheck. Like, ain't nobody want to see that. But in 2023, when things were starting to look up, that's when they decided, okay, we're gonna start doing our annual Tarte brand trip again. And things did look good, I guess. They opened up their brand trip opportunity to like different creators, different size creators. They didn't just exclusively, I'll be right back. I gotta get a paper towel for my lips. Got a paper towel. They very much so were trying to push this idea. They weren't being as exclusive as they used to be. You know, creators of all shapes and sizes could go. Creators of all following sizes could go. And it really looked like, you know, Tarte was changing for the better, I guess. Like they were gonna just invite, like they were gonna be more inclusive, right? Inclusive. And apparently there was a debacle where, you know, certain people could only stay for certain weekends. So there were 2 weekends. I guess they did it in the style of Love Island or Bachelor in Paradise or whatever, honey, I don't know. One of those love shows, which already that's a little bit of a red flag, where like whoever was voted to stay in, I guess they stay for an extra weekend if the brand likes them. And so Shawty Sin was the first one to kind of whistle blow that the Tarte brand trip wasn't what it seemed, right? She was the first one to whistle blow that. And then later on, we find out like a week or so later, or a couple weeks later, that content creator Bria Jones, I believe, or like she decided not to go because she felt like they were discriminating against her unfairly. And so in response to the backlash of you know, Tarte, I envy anybody who has big juicy lips. Like I know I have big juicy lips, but I envy anybody who has like bigger juicy lips. Shout out to the big juicy lip baes out there. As Bria Jones came out and solidified that, okay, Tarte isn't a really good brand to work with, they're not cool. I think Tarte did some damage control where they brought on 2 other influencers that just so happen to be Black. One of them is named Vanita. I'll put the names of the other ones on there to do damage control for Bria Jones's allegations. But, you know, let's dial back and talk about the details as to why both Bria Jones and Shawty Sin felt like they were being unfairly discriminated against in these Tarte brand trips, right? I'm going off of sheer memory here, okay? I'm going off of memory and a dream. From what I understand and from what I saw, Shawty Sin was not into her experience at the brand trip for a couple reasons. For what I remember, when she first entered, she felt like her room was a little too small. She also didn't like the way she was treated when it came to who got to stay an extra weekend in Turks and Caicos and who did not. So Shawty Sin was in fact the one going to the Turks and Caicos trip, and she was the one that was getting flown over. And so, you know, she kind of saved face, grinned and bare it, came back home and kind of exposed her experience working at Tarte, right? So in the midst of her talking about how she felt like it was unfair because she had to go home an extra weekend early and other girls actually got to stay a little bit longer and they got bigger rooms and they got their own villa spaces. I think they like changed locations. She felt like it was very unfair that they were discriminating against her because she was a brown skinned woman and also because she was a plus sized woman. And then then there were some creators that came out that were discussing their experience at the Tarte brand trip. And they were saying that, you know, their bathrooms, like they were in an even smaller room, smaller than what Shadi Sin had. Not only were they in a smaller room, but they also had a broken bathroom, which meant they had to share a bathroom with another content creator because their bathroom was broken. I guess that creator was kind of doing damage control for what was happening with Shadi Sin in her room, kind of alluding to the fact that Tarte's decisions for who got to stay and who didn't get to stay were not like influenced by anything in particular. It was just very random, and it was just how this event, how this trip was planned out. As you peeled the layers back, you look deeper into like what was going on, and you realize that the women who did have bigger rooms, while they were skinnier, while they were like, you know, women of color, like for example, there was one woman, I forgot her name, I'll put it somewhere here. She had a much bigger room, and she was showcasing that to her audience, the type of room that she had. She was also a woman of color. She was in fact like a darker skinned Black woman. However, she wasn't a plus sized woman of color, so that could have something to do with it. So I can kind of see where Shadi Sin was talking about in regards to maybe being unfairly discriminated against. It gets like even more spicier. The tea gets more spicier, right? It gets big spicy when Bria Jones explains her experience, right? Already you have Shadi Sin whistleblowing what's going on. Bria Jones now talks about how she was supposed to go with Tarte to this Miami trip where she was going to see like this Grand Prix race, and she realized that a lot of her content creator friends were going to stay an extra day for the Grand Prix race, but she was set to go home that day, and that was the day of the main race or whatever. And now Bria is coming out and saying that they're treating her unfairly, they're discriminating against her. Sparked this whole debate on the internet about how Tarte was handling their situation. The CEO comes out, she explains her side of the story. She says that like they weren't really aware that people would care so much about which days they'd stay or which weekends they stay. More or less, it was kind of low-key giving damage control. And then right after that, when Bria turns down the Tarte brand deal, Fanita and another content creator, another Black content creator, decide to join the brand trip in lieu of Bria Jones's spot, right? And so this is where we are. This is where the issues get dicey, because then Fanita and I believe the other girlie, I forgot the woman's name, I'm gonna put it at the bottom. Fanita and the other woman, they are talking about like, oh, well, Bria doesn't know what she's talking about. Bria's making a big deal out of nothing. It's not really like that. We have the tea. We're going to explain it. Give us a chance. Bria's out here lying through her mouth. Apparently through the grapevine, it comes out that Bria just didn't respond to an email correctly, or at least that's what Fanita's trying to make it as, like Bria didn't correctly respond to an email, I guess. I don't know. And that sparked up more debate over the issue, and now people were on Bria's side, you know, defending Bria. People were like, cancel Tarte, cancel Tarte, cancel Tarte. And while this is going on and I'm learning about all the drama, you know, I'm late to everything, so I mean, you can tell I'm talking about this 5 months later, right? I kind of started thinking, and I started putting two and two together. I kind of looked into the details of what happened and how people were feeling about it, and I have to say, based off of the whole fallout, this looks goofy. I was like, you know what, actually, why do we care? Hear me out, all right? This hasn't been the first time that Tarte has done something questionable or problematic in the makeup space, right? Like, did Jackie Aina not teach y'all anything? Jackie Aina and other prominent content creators, makeup gurus of color were out here whistleblowing and letting y'all know that Tarte don't like y'all like that. That Tarte is literally out here trying to use you guys for outrage bait. You know, they came out with those foundation shades in a post-Fenty Beauty era. They came out with these non-inclusive foundation shades that only had 8 ranges, all right, and everybody G-checked them. And, you know, Tarte was somehow able to make that into some sort of controversy, where you had one side of the internet, the beauty community internet, that was like, how dare you guys not have all-inclusive shade ranges? And the other side, like, well, do they have all-inclusive shade ranges? Let me make a video and find out, and push that through the algorithm. Very much so giving rage quit content. content that you can rage at before rage quit content was an actual thing. That was in fact what Tarte was doing, and they've been doing that stuff. They have been not as inclusive. I mean, even when they had their little brand trips, everybody had something to say about how the same content creators were going on these trips, you know? And so I sit up here and I see these new age influencers and I see them talk about how Tarte hasn't been doing right by them. Tarte hasn't been treating them right. Tarte has been discriminating against them. If you were to ask me if they were discriminated against, I can honestly tell you in this instance, my opinion doesn't matter. What I will say though is that if these people weren't content creators, I feel like things wouldn't be taken as personally as they did, but because they are content creators, because they care about their worth, you know, I can see why they would be upset. I'm not gonna sit up here in silence or like, you know, silence the experience of somebody who's going through some sort of I can't find my foundation. Where is my MAC Studio 64 stick? One thing about having a vanity set is it's just really hard to like keep track of everything, because you have everything in all these little pockets and you're just like, if I open this drawer, it'll show up, right? Right? No, it does not. It does not show up. Oh my God. Oh, there it is. Founder. I feel like content creators do kind of, especially like established content creators, to an extent, can sometimes be conflating issues that everyday people won't necessarily deal with. And it could be for a couple of reasons. It could be because, oh, it'll get them clicks and views if they like expose a company, but it also can be because, you know, a regular everyday person doesn't really have the power to sit up here and call out questionable business practices, or when, you know, a company isn't treating you right. I think that could also tie into it. But I also feel like, and this is like kind of a big take I have, I was expecting these creators to know better, especially with how much information has been out about these companies. I was expecting them to like understand Tarte has been doing this ish before. Just because these groups of people on these trips didn't get burned now doesn't mean they won't probably get burned later. And again, it's like one of those things that like could probably really bother a content creator, but like an everyday person, I don't think that would bother them as much. You know, like if they couldn't stay an extra day for a race, it'd be tough titties, but you know, go home, enjoy it for what it is. And it's not even a thing where they're taking advantage of like smaller creators who really need to depend on this because they don't know any better and they're just trying to get that exposure. No, like these are bigger creators. Like Shoddy Sin has a good amount of a following, and Bria Jones is very prominent not just in TikTok but on YouTube as well. So it's just like these people know their worth, they know the impact of their following, and they know the impact of their influence. Like what's stopping them from doing research on like the brand they're working with and being like, hey homie, I don't know about this. Y'all have done questionable stuff in the past. I don't think I want to be a part of this in the future. And I think this is a bigger problem with the beauty community in general, and just like the state of the beauty community industry. Because again, when this did happen, it got a lot of mixed reviews. Like there were some people standing on the side of Bria, you know, saying it's effed up. Some people standing on the side of Shoddy Sin saying it's effed up. There were some people that were like, okay, these influencers are way too entitled. Like nobody actually cares. People are losing their jobs. Interest rates are high. Why do you want us to care in 2023? And then there were also people out here who, you know, were just like making very intricate, interesting nuances and commentary on the whole situation. Jouelzy does a very good video like unpacking all of what happened. Shout out to her. I'll put the link to her video down below. But personally, just kind of seeing what happened and how people were impacted by it and their hot takes about the whole debacle, I can't help but think that like people were honestly just tired of the beauty community and the constant drama that happens with it. You know, we know that these content creators are established. We know that these content creators are doing well. We know that these content creators have access to enough money and resources to understand when these businesses aren't doing right by them, yet and still they continue to work with them, thinking things will change, thinking that they are going to be the exception, but then they aren't the exception. You want us to feel bad for you, but like 3 or 4 years ago, you know, Miss Jackie Aina was telling telling y'all that you're not the exception. They're going to screw you over. A bunch of creators were telling you they were going to screw you over, right? It's like eating a crap ton of Taco Bell and not expecting to have crippling diarrhea the next day. Like, you know what this is. You knew this was coming. Maybe you didn't have the crippling diarrhea when you had the Chalupa Deluxe that one time, but this time it's gonna screw you over because you had the Chalupa Deluxe and the Crunchwrap Supreme, right? Like, I don't know. I think it's just, this is just an example of us just not caring about makeup in the same way that we used to anymore, and us not giving our time and energy to these brands, and also just not giving our time and energy to these people who get to work with these brands, because 9 times out of 10 they're working with these brands and they're getting paid a butt ton of money, like a lot of money to do this. If not, they get to go to lavish fancy trips that people dream of. So it's like, in 2023, why are you forcing me to care about these things, to whistleblow something that we already knew? We already done knew Tarte was problematic. Why are you still working with them? What are we actually doing here, you know? I don't know. That's just my hot take about the whole situation. I like the way my lips look. So, like, Fanita, like, her response was, I don't know, because I heard that there was something that happened with Purex and Fanita where she was sitting up here saying that Purex was racist for not giving her a chance, and she whistle blew that to her audience on TikTok. After, like, Purex did damage control and let her work with them, you know, everything's hunky-dory when she gets to work with Tarte. And now Tarte isn't being racist, and now Tarte isn't being problematic, and now Bria doesn't know what she's talking about. And personally, if you were to ask me how I feel about the whole situation, I don't really care. It looks like a duck, acts like a duck, and quacks like a duck. They're probably extorting you for performative views and influence, right? Like, and that's what Tarte was doing, extorting them for performative views and influence. Girl, what do you want me to do here, you know? But anyway, that was my hot take on that. I think in the future, with like how the beauty community is evolving, I do feel like we are going to see a shift where people aren't just not going to care as much. People don't have money to be spending on makeup like that anymore. We're trying to like dwindle down from this hyper consumerist era of like fashion, especially with makeup. We want makeup to embellish or enhance our natural beauty. Now we don't want to wear makeup to hide stuff. But I do think it's just kind of interesting how many mixed reviews were out there for this whole situation. Yeah, tell me what you think. Tell me how you felt about that Tarte brand trip. I know I'm like 7 months late on this drama. Thank you so much for watching my channel. I think I messed up my lips. What is going on? Yeah, be sure to like and subscribe and tell me your thoughts. Do you think you can kind of see why Fanita and Bria felt the way they do? Again, in no way am I like gaslighting their feelings as people, women of color, people of color that are enduring the hardships of being an influencer in that space. But I am addressing the fact and stating the elephant in the room that this isn't Tarte's first time doing questionable things to their diverse talent, and it won't be their last. And so instead of running to the internet to complain about it, just like stop working with them. Do not forget to drink some water. This water has been carrying me through this entire content farming, okay? Water will keep you consistent, my loves. So keep drinking it. I love y'all so much. You have a wonderful rest of your week. Take care. Bye.